Hello my friends, welcome back. I mentioned in a video or two ago that I wanted to do some dry salami. Haven't done any in a while. The process is fairly simple and you can do it yourself and you'll save a ton of money by doing it yourself and not going to the store to buy it completed. So stick around, we're going to go through the process. We'll show you how to do it at home. So right around the holidays is a good time to buy pork shoulder or pork butt. $1.98 a pound, pretty good. This is the bone-in version. So we're going to have to cut that bone out of there. We're going to get this cut up, put it in our bowl here. Then we'll get our grinder out and get things going. Now salami can be made out of pork or beef or a combination of both. Traditionally it's made from pork. So that's what we're doing today. There's our H-bone right there. You can see it's kind of a weird shaped bone, and if you've never pulled one out before, it can get a little tricky, but if you just follow that bone around with a knife, you'll be fine. So we're not only taking the bones out, we're also cutting it up so it'll go through our meat grinder. We're using our smaller KitchenAid grinder, so we've got to cut it a little bit smaller. Another thing I wanted to tell you, once you cut your bone out, you end up with 2 pieces of your pork butt. This makes really good bacon as well. You can cure this just like you do bacon. You want to go about 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick. Put your dry rub on there. In a week, you'll have bacon ready to smoke. This is called a pork butt, but it doesn't come from where you think it would. This is actually front shoulder, but they call it a butt. Now the next process is to weigh the meat. We have to know how much meat we're dealing with to get our spices and everything in the correct ratio. Okay, we've got 7 pounds and just under 15 ounces. We're going to go ahead and call that 8 pounds because that's close enough. Now, unlike my Portuguese ancestors, I don't say good enough that often. I remember back in the day when they used to make a dish, they would just not measure anything, just throw stuff in. You never knew how it was going to turn out. Some years was good, some years was not so good. So Grandma could always get pretty close with her cooking. She was that good. But anytime the men in the family were involved and they said, bom suficiente, that means good enough in Portuguese, it usually wasn't good enough. I like to be a little bit more spot on, and I like repeatable results when I'm cooking. All right, let's get grinding. Now, if you remember our method to get what's leftover meat in the grinder out by dropping a couple ice cubes down in there, there is another method. Just take a little bit of your ground meat, make a little ball, couple balls, put it back in the hole until it pushes all that meat out. There'll still be meat left in here when you take it apart, but at least it will be ground meat, and you can just add it back to the mix. Now that our meat is ground, we're going to throw this in the fridge and we'll get the spices going. So for 8 pounds of meat, we need 4 tablespoons of Tender Quick. This is a meat cure you can find in your salt aisle right next to all your other salts at your grocery store. Now Tender Quick is not the same as your pink curing salt or cure number 1. This is different. This would be closer to the cure number 2, but it's not even exactly like that. But this works really good for dried meat. Get one more in there. There we go. Now we need 8 teaspoons of salt. A tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. So there's 6. And then we need to be about 1 teaspoon shy in that last one. So about right there. So the following spices are going to have to go in the spice grinder. We need 4 teaspoons of black peppercorns. So it'd usually be one of these and a teaspoon. But for some of these spices, we could probably just heap it up and be fine. Need 4 teaspoons of coriander. So if we just heap that up, should be close enough. And then 4 teaspoons of fennel. There we go. Now we want to leave a little consistency to this like we did when we made our biltong that day. We just want to pulse it a few times. And then you can see about what it looks like. Still got a little bit of texture. Now that can go right in our bowl. Now if it doesn't matter if there's whole peppercorns, most of your store-bought salami will have whole peppercorns in it. We also need 4 teaspoons of garlic powder. So that'll be 1 tablespoon and then 1/3 of a tablespoon. Now for the liquid, we need 1 cup of red wine vinegar. You could also use just red wine, like a dry red wine, like a Burgundy or something like that, Merlot. But I prefer the vinegar. I like a little more twang. And then a teaspoon of liquid smoke. And that is optional. Maybe just a hair more. There we go. So that liquid goes into our dry spices. We'll give that a stir. We'll bring the meat up and get mixing it. Got our spices mixed up. Pour it right in here as the meat. Take some of your meat. Wipe out the inside of your bowl. Get all those wonderful flavors out of there. And then get your clean hands in there and get to mixing. Want to work it over pretty good. We want to start developing the proteins or extract the proteins in that meat. And that'll help your sausage hold together really well. Okay, the next step, we got our scale back out of here. We want to measure some 1-pound chubs. So start getting some meat out of here. Kind of guess at about 1 pound. See where we're at. We're at 1 pound 0.35. And that's 15.96. So 1.01 pound, that's plenty close. So we're going to shape this into a log and then we're going to wrap it real tight with this plastic. Okay, you want to smash your meat into a real tight ball, get all of the air out of it, and then we'll start rolling it. We want to end up with about 1.5 inches or so chub. So just squeeze it down as you go, as you roll. And then we're going to take the ends and we're going to twist the ends the same way that we rolled. Just like that. And we end up with a nice little chub of salami. So these are going to go in the fridge. We got 7 more of these to make. And these will sit overnight. And they'll firm up. Have our 8 1-pound chubs of salami here. These are going to go down in the fridge overnight to firm up. We had 11 ounces left over. You might wonder how that happened. Well, when you add water and spices, you gain weight. So we've got a small one here that we're also going to put in the fridge, but we'll do something different with that. We'll fast track that one when it's time to go. So we'll see you tomorrow. Well, through the magic of the internet, my tomorrow is your today. We have our chubs that have been in the freezer for 24 hours. They've firmed up nicely. So what we're going to do is we're going to unwrap them now. We're going to add some black pepper to the outside. Then we're going to put them on our drying rack. And then we'll move them downstairs to start drying. And then once they get good and dry and firm up even a little more, we're going to actually hang them downstairs. But this one right here, we're going to dehydrate in our air fryer and speed up the process so we can eat this one right away. Now the black pepper not only adds a little flavor to the outside of your salami, you can find them sometimes in the store with black pepper. It also acts as an insect repellent. Insects do not like black pepper. So, double duty. So here's all of our salami here, coated in pepper. It's going to sit down here for a couple days before we mess with it again. We'll let it dry out even more, firm up more, before we tie them and hang them. Got a fan that blows down here most of the time. So we're going to go back upstairs and handle our one that we're going to fast track. Now you may think that seems like a lot of pepper, but you're going to slice that salami so thin, it'll just be on the very outside edge of that, so it's not going to overpower things. There's our salami in the air fryer. We can put this thing on dehydrate and then hit start. It's going to go for 4 hours initially, but we may need to lengthen the time. Okay, it's the next day. Here's the one we fast-tracked in the dehydrator. You can see what the end of it looks like. I've already been eating on this stuff. But it's pretty dry. Stuff down in the basement will be drier. But really good. Got that good taste of salami, and you get that little bit of peppery bite from the outside. I think I'm going to make a little pizza with this for lunch. It's going to be really good. Now when that stuff in the basement gets dry enough, we'll tie it up and we'll hang it. And then it's got to hang and dry out. It needs to lose about 30% moisture. So you know we started with 1 pound chubs of that. So when it gets down to around 70% of its weight, it'll be done. So all we got to do is weigh it to figure that out. But that'll take 3 weeks to 3 months. It just all depends on moisture, humidity, all that stuff, and the temperature. So we won't make you wait around that long, but recipe's fantastic. Hope you enjoyed this salami making process. Hope you come back and see us here real soon on Mark Kelly Farm. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Love you guys. See you soon.